Hello and welcome everyone, it's Shanna. Now today I've got my mystery sampler kit from Kendra, and we've got the little QR code on there that shows where it came from, and I'm just going to pull everything out. I got it in the mail actually today. I picked it up because Saturday I went and they were already closed. And look at this. This is so cute. It's got these big bold sentiments and the bold paper, and we've got some bright yellow cardstock to go with it. And it looks like right there we've got a card in and of itself. We've got 2 more pieces of cardstock. It looks like we've got 3 little pieces of embellishment. And we've got red and we've got yellow, and it looks like we've got a blue and white circular pattern paper here. And we've got, looks like most of the elements for 3 cards. And then we've got another gigantic sentiment hugs on this yellow. And it looks like we are all set to make 3 great cards. So we've got the QR code, and I wanted to check it out and see where it's from, so I'm gonna bring in my iPad, and I'm not sure how well this is gonna work, but I thought I would get my iPad and get to my camera and scan it and see exactly what we've got here. And you can see my reflection in there, and we've got Stampin' Up! DSP Mystery Card Sampler Kit. So it is from Stampin' Up!, and that is where the product is from. So I just wanted to let you know that, and I wanted to know it myself, and so we're just going to get to work with this, and we're going to make 3 quick cards. So I'm just kind of eyeballing. I've kind of figured out the first card. I'm trying to figure out the second card. I'm thinking, you know, do I want to put the red on the yellow or the red on the red, or how do I want to do this? And I'm just kind of checking it out and trying to come up with some kind of an inspiration. And I think I've landed on the red on the yellow and the blue on the red, and we're just going to work with these and put them together quite quickly. So these are fantastic. Those sentiments are just huge, so you really don't need anything else. So these are kind of like note cards for friends that you just want to send to them when you know, for no special occasion, you just need to send a message to them or something. So I'm going to bring in a couple of side folding cards, actually 3, and I'm just going to get it laid down on there. I'm going to grab my bone folder and get it scored up. This one needs a little bit more scoring, and I'm going to position it and just get my yellow cardstock laid down on this card base, and I think it's going to come together real quickly. Now, it's been a minute since I worked with my my sweet petunia glue press. When I say a minute, it was this afternoon, and now this is this evening. So it hadn't been that long, but it had a little bit of a glob in there. So I cleaned it out, and I'm just going to get this yellow cardstock laid down on this A2 card base and just get it smoothed out. And there's a little something on there, and I tried to rub it off. Now, we've got this paper, and I think this is where I'm headed. And I'm kind of lining it up, checking it out. And then I flip it over, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love the polka dots too. And I thought the polka dots helped the Just a Note to pop off of there. And I love the florals, and I just was beside myself trying to decide. But I just felt like the Just a Note popped better off of the white polka dots than it did the floral. So I made my decision, and I'm going to use the polka dots and then lay my Just a Note on top of it. It was a hard choice to make because this pattern paper is gorgeous. I'm still fumbling there trying to decide, do I really want to cover this floral pattern up? So I'm just going to get my glue laid down on there and not think about it any longer and make a decision, and we'll get it laid down on the yellow card base and get it lined up. Now the air's running, so if you hear that in the background, I apologize. It has been blazing hot. For 2 days in a row, we've had a heat warning in our area. Just super, super hot. I think we're supposed to get some storms here at some point. I don't know what day, but I had seen on the weather on YouTube that we were going to have some storms that were going to potential storms that would pop up because of this severe heat that we're having. So I'm just getting this glued up, and I'm going to get it laid down on that orange shadow background die there, or die cut piece, and it'll make just a wonderful card with just this huge sentiment, and that's all we need. And I've got a friend who's needing some sentiment, some basic sentiment cards, so I think this could work out perfectly. And just to know, and I'm telling you what, these are easy to lay on there too. I just kind of hovered over there and got my eyeball on it and then got it laid down. These are fantastic. I've got to check out Stampin' Up. Now, it's been a minute since I've ordered from Stampin' Up. And when I say a minute, probably 1992. And I still have products from Stampin' Up. So this is really a nice size sentiment. And I'm just rubbing my fingers on there and cleaning off the glue. And we'll get some glue on the back of this and we'll lay it down, and this will take care of our first card. Just making sure I get all the edges so I get it adhered nicely. And I'm going to just lay this down right there on that. And we have got a nice little card that is suitable for just about anything. And I'm kind of cleaning up some glue that was on my glass mat there. I really like it. So let's move on to number 2. And we've got another great big huge sentiment. We've got hugs. And we've got this yellow pattern paper here again, and I'm just going to get it laid down on there. And of course, as you can anticipate, we're going to have to make a decision on the pattern paper again. This Stampin' Up! Pattern paper is just fabulous. Now this piece here was a little bit smaller than the A2 card base, and I'm assuming it was cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to make sure I get my edge laid down on there very nicely. And then I think this panel was cut the same. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring in my trimmer. And I'm going to trim this down to, I think I go 3 3/4 by 5 is what I do on this one. So we'll actually, I think I make a couple cuts on it. So we'll bring in the trimmer and we'll get to cutting on it. And it looks like I went 3 3/4 by 5. And I think I did, but I think when I lay it down, maybe that panel wasn't cut exactly as I thought. And then I saw this paper and I was like, oh, I want to use this side too. But I decided since I didn't use the floral on the other one, I'm going to use this on this one. And I think it'll work out really well. It kind of looks like fireworks or even a flower of some sort. So I'm eyeballing it and I feel like I need to make another cut on it. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer again, and I'm going to cut it down to just a smidge under 5 because I just felt like that yellow panel wasn't quite what I thought it was from a measurement standpoint. So I'll just do a smidge, trying to get it lined up nice and neat, and then I think this will work. And we'll get that laid down on there, and I feel like that's a much better edge on there. There we go. So let's get some glue on here. Oh gosh, and I'm still debating. And I decide I'm going to use the red and the yellow, and I think it'll go nicely. I'm really going to have to check out Stampin' Up! Because I love these products. We'll get this laid down. And the air conditioning kicked off, so if that noise was in the background, it's no longer there. I can hear the clock ticking. And we've got the yellow Hugs shadow and the green Hugs word die there, die cut. And I'm just going to throw down some glue on there, and we'll get it laid down on our sentiment. And this card's going to come together real quickly. I think these are super fun. I don't know if you guys follow any Stampin' Up! Demonstrators or not, but I think it'd definitely be well worth it. I do follow a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I think her name is Lorraine, and she does a cards and a coffee and card chat pretty regularly, and I pick up on her, and she is full of great tips and has a lot of fun fold techniques and stuff. So I encourage you to check that out. So I'm just going to press down on this and we'll flip it over, and same routine. We're going to glue it up and get it laid down on our sentiment. And I was thinking, am I going to have to angle it? But nope, it'll fit on there and it'll just go from side to side and it'll make a great sentiment. So we'll get it laid down on there. And then that will finish up our second card. And I'm getting plenty of glue on there. And I think this is another fun card. There we go. So let's finish up our third one. Now our third one, we've got a little bit more of a challenge because we don't have a sentiment. So I'm going to bring in another side folding card base, and this one is also cut at, I'm guessing, 4 by 5 1/4. And the blue layer is cut just inside of that. So I don't know if it's 1/8 of an inch shorter or not. Now I'm thinking I can die cut out of the red, this red piece, and kind of have a similar card as to the ones that I have already completed. So I'm going to go digging for a die, and I've got this Friends die, and I think I can lay it down on this red piece, and if I get it positioned just right, I can use this for my back panel, lay my pattern paper on top of it, and also have my sentiment out of the back panel, just like I do the other two sentiments. And we can kind of mimic what we've got going on there. So I'm going to do that, and I think I can, at first I think I'm going to bring in my Scout and die cut it out, but then I realized that it's too big. This is, I think I said 4 by 5 1/4, and 4 is too big for that. We really need 3 1/2 or 3 3/4 to go through the Scout. So I'll just go off camera and die cut it out. And I just used my Spellbinders Platinum 6 and got it die cut out. And while I was doing that, I went ahead and did the actual letters to this. This is the shadow, and I did the actual letters at the same time. And so I'm just going to gently pull off this tape and lay that aside, and I'm going to double check, and yep, that's going to work. I was able to get that sentiment die cut out of there, and we're going to have the shadow die coordinate with the background panel die, just like our other two cards. And it's not quite as big of a sentiment. I mean, it is large. It's very large from side to side, but I think we've kind of got the same theme going, and I was pleased with how that worked out for me. So this is a Spellbinders Friends shadow, etched shadow die, and I'm just going to lay my red panel down. I'm going to bring my blue and white in and lay it on top of that. And then we'll get our sentiment down, and this will be our third kind of note card that we're making this evening. And again, we've got a choice to make. We've got this beautiful pattern paper on the other side, and I'm just trying to decide what I want to do. I'm going to bring my sentiment in and kind of lay it on there and see how that looks. And I decided that I wanted to do the blue and white and just really have that red pop off of there. So we're going to do that and kind of not have as busy of a pattern as this back side. And we'll get it laid down on our red layer. Just try to get it lined up nice and neat. And I got to lift it up and move it just a smidgen. And then we'll get to assembling our Friends. And it is not in one piece. We've got, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 pieces, because I think we have the F, the R, the IND, the S, and then the tittle to our I. So we're going to lay the F down. And much like the Stampin' Up! Sentiments there, this one, you can easily lay it down as well. It goes down very nicely. Even though it's multiple pieces, it does lay down really nice. There's some really great etching on this shadow die, and I'm going to show you here. You can see, I don't know if you can see where the R goes, because it's actually etched out there to where you can line it up perfectly. So I'm going to grab that R, and I'm going to get it laid down on here. And we'll throw some glue on there. Get it pressed down, and then we'll move on to our IEND, and that'll be a good chunk of our sentiment. And then we've got our tittle laying there on the mat, and we don't want to lose that. We've got some scrap piece there too, but I want to keep track of that tittle to my eye. We'll get this laid down on there, and it goes down real easy. Just blotting some of that glue off with my finger and wiping it on my towel over there to the side. Just lining it up nice and neat, and it looks good. Now all we need is our S and the dot to our I, and we'll have our sentiment all put together. And there we have it. There we go. So I'm going to bring in my glue and put just a little dot on the shadow there, and I'll grab my pick and stick tool, and I'm going to move that, kind of get that. Sometimes they get stuck on your magic mat, and so I use the pick end to move it, and then I'll use the wax tip to pick it up, and we'll just get it laid down right there on that shadow die. And we are ready to lay this thing down on our card base. And we're going to have 3 fantastic note cards that we can use for just about anything. Just making some little swirls with my glue. I was kind of having fun with my glue bottle. And then we'll bring that in, and we're just going to lay it right down on our card. And it kind of looks a little patriotic too. And there we go. And then I'm going to show you my cards, and I'm going to notice that I've got my 3 little embellishments up there at the top of my glass mat. And I try to use everything in these mystery sampler kits that Kendra sends. I want to bust these up and use them. And so each time I do the video, I try to use every bit of material. So I'm going to lay all 3 of these embellishments down on this Friends card. And I'm just going to put it in the kind of the blue circular area. And I'm just going to cluster 3 of them right there together. And then that will completely finish off this card. And I've got it stuck to my finger, and I'll just grab it and lay it down on there. And we've got 3 fun note cards ready to go. So here they are. I hope you like them. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care.